Hi,
Hi.
Alicia.
So nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too,
Here.
right? Yeah, which is kind of, these are
How are you?
crazy times that we're living
It
in,
is,
right?
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Awesome. How long have you lived? What did you like spend time living in LA, or did you just go out there for pilot season or
Yeah, no, I lived there for almost 5 years with my
oh,
wife and two kids. We went there with one child, and we had a child while we were living in America. So,
oh cool.
yeah, almost 5 years we lived in Los Angeles. It was that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
as an actor, I always had the dream to do Hollywood,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
my wife was good enough to back me up. She said, "Look, if you want to do it, let's do it, and I'll be right behind you and stuff." So
That's awesome.
without her, I would never have been able to do it, right? But it was it was a great experience, great
Yeah.
experience as an actor. I think to build experience and sort of audition experience and stuff, but also resilience and stuff like that. It's
Right.
one of those,
Yeah.
you really work out how strong you are after being in the
Very true.
machine in
Yeah.
Hollywood and trying to navigate that. But
I was
yeah, it was
curious about
great.
that. Yeah, because like I actor and I'm so like I love, of course, I love Wentworth, but that's kind of opened my world to watching other Australian, shows and films, and I love it so
Yep.
much. And in my head, I'm like, I want to go there,
Yeah. Right.
like I want to train where they're training, and I would be. So I was curious to ask you like how you felt that even like the audition is the auditioning experience and the process like like what's the difference for you between here and there if you don't
Yeah.
mind me
It's
asking. I was just curious.
a
Yeah.
very good question, though. But it's the audition experience. The audition experience, I think, is the same. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I think that's a fairly universal constant. The audition process is casting office. You walk in, you get the waiting room, and then you go in and you got to do your thing. And I think that that separates say Hollywood as opposed to somewhere like Melbourne, which is where I grew up and where I did a lot of my kind of formative acting work, is the sheer volume, right? You go
Right.
to Hollywood, and if you've got the right management team in place, you're going in to see casting directors, and I've never auditioned as much as I have as when I was in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
that's a really good thing because I have a lot of thoughts about the audition process and
Mhm.
what you can do to maximize your chances in that process for you as an individual, as an actor.
Yeah.
And I really honed. It's a craft unto itself. I don't
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
just acting. You can be a great actor. You can be a wonderful actor on screen or on stage or whatever, and be a terrible auditioner. There's a lot of people
Right.
that are like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because it's such a like a removed sort of thing, it's like its
Right.
own. Yeah.
It's sort of a microcosm of what acting is. It's really,
Right.
you boil it down to this one moment in time. And I often do a bit of teaching. I do a bit of teaching of students at this at a local sort of drama school sort of thing. It's like it's not a full drama school, but it's a small kind of acting center.
Yeah.
And often some of the classes that I teach end up being audition protocol, and this is how to conduct yourself in an audition to maximize this time for yourself.
Right.
And things like I say things like, when you go in there, understand that the casting director wants you to be amazing, right? So go in there with that. So don't feel as though you walk in there feeling like you're going to fail, or feeling like they are hoping that you fail, or hoping that you stuff something up or whatever. They are hoping that you're amazing.
Yeah.
They want you to be the best person you can be, because that makes their job easier. They go, it's him. Yeah. He's got the gig. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you go in there with that mindset, you're already ahead of the curve, right? Because you're
very true.
You're going there knowing that they want you to be amazing. And also they've allotted you a time, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, because they've got this many people that go, okay, 10 o'clock, 10:10, 10:20, edge 10 minutes.
Right.
Use the time. It's your time. You got to use all of the time. You're
shortchanging. I hadn't thought about that before.
If you walk in there and you go, okay, yep, good, I'm done here, and then you walk out, right, in 2 minutes flat, you're shortchanging yourself, because they're just going to wait until that extra time before they call in the next person, and they might be ready. They'll bring them in early, but that's your time. That 10 minutes is your time. So get in there, you know, be part of the space and stuff, and kind of take some time to just get into the space and to relax into the space. And if that means having a bit of a chat with the casting director, say, hey, how you doing? How's the weather? Kind of like, or whatever you need to talk about, but just to sort of relax into the space. Ask for a drink of water. They'll be happy to get you a drink of water, and kind of put your phone down, put your keys down, put your bag down, put everything where it needs to be. And
because you can sometimes, I think sometimes you feel like this sense of rush, right? Or like, they're waiting on me. So I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to take that time, and because the time is yours, the time is yours to use. Yeah. And then, the other kind of note that I give is that if you do your audition and you feel as though you didn't quite make the notes, the beats that you had in your head that you'd written down on your script and everything, ask for another one. That's actually okay. So do you mind if I just try that one again? And they might say, look, we're really out of time. We're way behind. We haven't got time. That was fine. But if you do ask for another try at it, make sure it's better. Don't don't do it worse than the previous one.
Right.
But sometimes sometimes you just need that first read just to sort of, let everything sort of settle into place. So ask to do another one, because they'll use the best take for that.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about feeling comfortable in that space, and it's your space, it's your time, and it's your space. So use the space, and ask questions. So the thing is, I say, have you got any questions? You go, yeah. What relationship is his, with relationship with his son? They ask the questions, find out as much information about it as you can, because that's what the casting director is there for, and they'll respect you for being inquisitive and to finding out as much information as you can to then make the judgment on how you're going to present that character.
Right. Yeah.
And then make bold choices. That's the other thing is when you make a choice and follow through and commit to that choice, because they're looking for people to make choices, that are strong choices. And also the other thing is be prepared to do another take and to shift everything. Don't be railroaded into this one way that you're going to present this character, because they might, as an exercise, say, hey, I like what you did there with that choice that you made. Let's try it this time and completely go against any of that anger or any of that, whatever you're feeling. Let's just completely work against all of that and give me one that has all of that kind of pushed to the side. Be prepared to do those things, because the casting director and a director and a producer, when they watch that tape, are going to be looking for you to make that adjustment and see how you made that adjustment.
If they say, like, sometimes you'll get, like, you'll be doing it again, and they don't give, they're like, let's just do it again. I've had that happen before. Let's just do it again, right? And so I'll say, okay, great. Is there any adjustments you want me to make or whatever? Right. And sometimes they'll come back with yes, and like make a comment. And other times they're like, nah, just show me something. So yeah, I get
yeah, that's right. I mean, the thing is, if you know that they all of the things that you kind of had ready to go are in that take, then try something different. Try something really different and stuff. Yeah. And sometimes there's those, kind of the obvious ones are things like, if it's a screaming, angry scene where you're screaming at them and you're really getting angry with them, then change it up and go and really internalize that anger and just bring it back and be, sometimes it can be more intense if you're expressing anger in a really controlled and really, understated way can actually be more powerful, kind of bringing that anger to the, internalizing it and stuff like that. So, but the main note that I give people is just prepare and be prepared, prepare yourself and be ready to go in the audition, but also just relax. Because sometimes I've seen people be their worst enemy sometimes in auditions. And here's the other thing. This is something that I've done a lot of, and something that I always suggest to my students that they do if they get an opportunity. In Australia, it's much more, it happens a lot more than in the States. But casting directors will get an actor to come and read opposite the person who's auditioning, stand next to the camera and read that script opposite them.
Right.
If you get an opportunity to do that job, do it, because it's a great way of first of all demystifying the inside of an audition room. Like, you feel comfortable in there. Like, this is not a, this is just someone doing their job, and this is another person doing their job, and you're meant to be working in tandem and trying to find the best result out of this script or the piece. And it also, you get to see 15, 20 people's different interpretation of one text, and you go, oh, right, that's an interesting choice. Oh, that's an interesting choice. I see what they've done there. So you get to witness an actor and various actors doing their different interpretations of a text. And it's a really interesting process to be part of. Plus, you also get to stay in that room when that actor's left and hear the conversation that goes on after that, where they go, oof, that person was awful, or the casting director might say, no, that's not right. Like, they were great and everything, but just not right for this role. And you're like, oh, I wonder why. So you can actually say, why is that person not right for that role? Because I thought they were good. I say, they were good. They were really good, but they're looking for someone that's more this or more that or whatever. And so, that's an interesting, okay, right. So you just get to, you get to break down that audition process and just be aware of what it is, what it is just and the thing is, a casting director is not God, they're not the boss of the thing. They're just facilitating an audition to then show that audition to the producers and the director and whatever to then make a choice. They're just that facilitator of that thing. So they're not going to make the decision. They're not choosing whether you get the role or whether you don't get the role. That's right. And if you have a real tacit understanding of that job that they do, then you know what your job is in tandem to that, in relation to that. And that is just to walk in and to be relaxed and to give the best performance you can give. And that's the thing. Otherwise, you're shortchanging yourself. So.
No, that's great. That's all great advice. Yeah. Well, sometimes I feel like, it's interesting. I've gotten to do that with commercials a little bit, and it does all of those things. You're just like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. But I hadn't thought to pursue being able to work with some casting directors that are casting more films, and trying to get, so I think that's a great idea. I'm going to. Right.
So, I would suggest if you've got, in the Houston area or whatever, reach out to casting directors and say, hey, even if you offer your services for free, right? I mean, the thing is that normally in Australia, they pay you like $25 an hour or something to do this. It's not that much, but it's, it's something.
But you're learning too at the same time.
Exactly. It's a great learning experience. Practicing. And it's a great practice thing because, and also you're working, right? You're reading a script opposite someone and you're doing you're working the whole time. And I would always, in that situation, I'm always trying to give that person as much as I can. And often it was a great compliment, if they would leave the audition, they'd go, that was a great read, man. Thank you so much for that, because it allowed me to give something and receive something from that actor and create something in that moment, so.
Sometimes you get those people that just read, and even though that you have to be prepared for that, you have to be prepared to not get anything from that other person. I feel like regardless, when you get something back from them, it's just on you sort of almost rise to meet them anyway, or you want to,
Of course.
So, it's always nice to have that. Yeah.
That's why, casting directors here like to use actors to read opposite people, because it gives the auditionee the best chance to create something that is worthy of their skills as an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not really like necessarily having to audition anymore or, in person.
Oh,
or
no,
but
absolutely. Of course.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm wondering, because here everybody's gone to Zoom auditions to like submitting tapes, which is normal,
Yep.
but then callbacks now aren't in person. It looks like they're going to be on Zoom in the near future. And I've been thinking like, that's a whole new sort of ball game in
Right.
terms of how do you, read with somebody, if you have to read with somebody over the computer, or can you get, somebody to read with you at home, which is what I'm doing and telling other
Yep.
people to do. Because I think regardless, it's going to be better. But that's like a whole new sort of way of auditioning too, that I think is kind of freaking people out.
You can see here, and this is my sort of multi-purpose room, music stuff. And I've got the gym set up as well. But that little backdrop there is my backdrop for my self-tape auditions. Awesome. And I've got a couple of lights set up here and everything. And so I've got a really nice setup here with the microphone and everything. So I can, and in fact, the thing that surprised me, one of the things that surprised me most about living in Hollywood and working in that system was how underwhelming the audition, the casting offices were. Like they have these little crappy cameras and they're kind of small little dank offices in, somewhere and stuff. I always thought it'd be much more glamorous than that, right? But it is not glamorous. And so the output that I can get in my self-tape studio is so much better than any casting office in Hollywood, right? In the middle of Hollywood, even the best casting offices, they're shitty cameras and they've got this crappy backdrop and they're reading, they're just casting directors reading opposite you. So it's not. And so I'm actually putting really good output from my self-tape.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
My brothers come over and my friends who are actors come over and we put up these really good self-tapes and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because that's the future. That's where
it is. It really, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So you get yourself nicely set up with a nice self-tape studio and you're already halfway there, so
definitely.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I love that it's like, I liked it before, but it is nice that like now I can see that that's going to be happening more and more because of all those reasons, and you get to take your time, doing something that, and so.
But that, that being said, there's still something to be said for relationships, because when I first got to LA, that, my manager was like, okay, Bernie, this is it, man. What you want to do is make a fan in the room of these casting directors, because then they'll get you back in there. So, you're not going to get every gig, but just walk in there and be good. If you walk in there and just be good, they'll say, look, he's not right for this role, but I like him. It's something good about this guy. I like this guy. And then next time something comes up, they'll go, yeah, Bernie's good. Let's get him in. And that's what happens. So you got to establish those relationships with the casting directors where they understand that you are reliable and you're going to come, you're going to bring it every single time, so.
Definitely. Like the live auditioning, it's a total, like you're proving to them your reliability and that you can, you got
to go from 0 to 100 in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That's also something that when he gets to a set, that's something that you develop as well. I mean, so I did this thing early in my career called Neighbours, which is this like a soap kind of thing. And they shoot 25 minutes of TV a day, right? And that's quick. Like you're shooting a lot of TV. So when you get to a set like that, you have no option but to get to your goal and your objective early, because they're not going to wait around for you to warm up into a scene. And it's a skill, another skill like the audition skill, the skill of being able to kind of find your beats and find those moments in a scene early is something that you develop and you can work on.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. This was
Alicia, it's been great to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Kiana.
And listen, good luck.
Alicia.
Good luck with everything, and I hope you book some, some great roles, Alicia. That's go get them.
I hope to see you more on stuff too. Now that 100%. You're right, so I'm excited for that, and then hopefully in New Jersey next year.
Hopefully, we get to see each other in person.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah. Thanks again.
Thanks,
right.
Alicia.
Thanks, Alicia.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.